anything else going on, any way we could help her.
Well, in what way did the cat change?
She all of a sudden changed against the other cats. Everything had been going fine. She'd been with us for a while, but all of a sudden she didn't like cats.
Nothing in the environment changed?
No.
Are you sure?
Not that I know of.
Did one of the cats die
No.
at any time?
No. There was one cat she seemed to be more against than the others, but now it's more general. But none of the cats died. I mean, no.
One moment. Name the cat.
Maybelline.
You didn't rearrange anything in the environment?
No, not that I know of.
Not that you know of. Is it possible someone else did?
There's only 2 people living in the house, and I would think we would have noticed.
Is the other person living in the house going through some sort of an emotional process?
Not any
Who's
more
the
than
cat
usual.
closer to?
Me.
Are you about to embark on a different level of an adventure?
I'd say so. We're transitioning
From
working
what to
environments.
what?
We've had traditional jobs, and now we're going into, but she changed before that, and now we're going into having our own business.
It doesn't matter if the cat changed before that. You understand the cats can see farther ahead than you can. You follow?
Yes.
So the cat may be acting as a barometer of changes to come, but reflecting them in a way that's not yet settled. Is there something within you that's a little unsettled about the changes that are being made?
Oh, yes, definitely. Yes.
Oh, well, gee. What a shock. And what is it you are unsettled about?
Well, it's like, as you said, it's a new adventure.
And
Unknown.
what about the idea that it's a new adventure has to be experienced in what you would call an unsettling or negative way?
It's jumping off into the unknown.
And what's so scary about the unknown in your definitions?
Because it's the unknown.
That's not an answer. That's a cyclic argument. What is so scary about the unknown in your definitions? What's so scary about something being unknown?
It's untested, unproven,
So,
no track record.
that doesn't explain why it has to be scary. Many people would find that concept quite thrilling and exciting. That something is new and unproven, unattested. Why isn't that exciting for you? Why is it the cause for trepidation? Don't you trust yourself?
I guess not. I don't know what's going to happen.
All right. Well, what do you think the cat's reflecting?
That, I guess.
Yeah. So you're holding on to the idea that if you go into the unknown, you can be surrounded by things that might not go well, that might press upon you, that might attack you, that might put you through negative experiences. Yes?
Yes.
It's unfamiliar territory, and suddenly you don't know where you stand. You're in what you call terra incognita, where everything looks new and unfamiliar, and you don't know how you relate, and you don't know how it relates to you. The cat is simply reflecting your uncertainty in this, but not just uncertainty, fear in the uncertainty. The only thing I guarantee you will ever find in the unknown is more of yourself, because that's all there is. That's all there is in your reality. It's just you, different expressions of you, different reflections of you. It's the only thing that can possibly exist in the unknown. So don't be afraid of yourself. Don't be afraid of your environment. Don't be afraid of the change. It's all just going to point you in the direction of discovering more of who you are. That's what the process of life is all about. It's exciting to not know. That's how you discover something new. If it weren't for the idea that you would forget who you are, you couldn't rediscover yourself from a new perspective. Things that exist in a timeless state never change. never find anything new, never experiencing anything new, ever. That's why you create the experience of linear time, so that you can discover something new from a new perspective about yourself, which is ultimately an unchanging being. So you have to fall into the idea that change has to be a constant, and that it's okay for things to change, and it will only ever reveal to you more of what it is you actually want to discover about yourself that you don't know yet. So anything that is unfamiliar to you now will become familiar. And then you'll go toward another unfamiliarity, and another, and another, and another, because that's the process of discovery. Because change is the only constant, aside, of course, from the other four laws. Yes?
Yes.
Is this helping?
Yes. Good.
Allow yourself to sit with the cat. Allow yourself to commune with the cat vibrationally, and allow yourself to feel settled into the idea that it's okay to go into the unknown, to go into uncharted waters. That's where the adventure lies. That's where the discovery will be found. Yes?
Yes.
This is a call to adventure. Look at it that way. And share that with the cat, so the cat can go on the adventure with you and you can both have some fun. And then you won't feel surrounded by the terrifying creatures that are drawn on the map. Here there be dragons. You understand?
Yes.
You're creating it to be something to be scared of. It's nothing to be scared of. It's just another version of you. All right?
Okay.
Does this help you?
Yes. Thank you.
Anything else?
No, that's it. Thank you.
All right.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Nice to meet you.
Speak up, speak up.
Okay. I have 3 questions.
Speak
but,
up more.
How many do we have time for?
Speak
3?
up. You just used one question, asking how many questions do you have time for. So now you have time for one less.
2 then. I have had 4 alien contacts.
Yes.
3 in my dream, 1 was not a dream.
All right. And so, how exciting.
Well, that's what I wanted to talk to you about.
Yes. Go ahead.
They weren't all pleasant, and
I didn't say they had to be pleasant. I said they were exciting. And they can be pleasant, but remember that your own fears are being reflected back to you by the way you are engaging in the encounter.
Actually, I'm not afraid of them at all.
No, I didn't say you were afraid of them. I said there were fears within you that are coming up, which is what makes them unpleasant.
Okay, just some were creepy.
I understand, but that is simply another way of saying they're not familiar,
And disgusting.
if you say so.
Yes.
But you don't need a value judgment on that, because
No.
that's what's keeping you in that state of unpleasantness.
Right. However, the
Yes.
question is,
Yes.
you're talking about having contact in the future, and I believe it's going to happen, but
Yes.
are you saying they're all benevolent? Because that was not my take on the 4 species.
I am not saying that there are not the existence of beings in creation that are less than benevolent. Mm-hmm. What I am saying is the individuals you are interacting with are, but they may not necessarily appear to be, because some of them don't relate emotionally in the same way that humans do. And thus they may seem to behave in ways that you feel are very disconnected. But it's not because they're intentionally malicious. It's because you're simply alien to one another in a way that you find disturbing.
So we're in a universe of duality. That means
You're in a trinity. There's always a balance point between the two polarities.
Sure. But for every good there is a bad.
Yes. There is a negative and
Can
a positive.
we all be benevolent? There is no
No.
other malevolent species in this universe?
No. There may be universes in which there are none, but in the totality of existence, there always must be polarity, otherwise it's not complete. Again, remember that polarity is not a value judgment. It's just a recognition of positive and negative, mechanically speaking. Positive is that which is integrative, connective, expansive. Negative is that which is segregative, disconnective, contractive. That's all. Now, there are beings who will exemplify these things in ways that may be more emotional, maybe more personal. But fundamentally, the idea is that there will always be positive and negative energy. That doesn't mean that someone has to behave in a negative way just because negative energy and negative ideas will always exist. They have the ability to choose. But the idea is, when you know it's a trinity, when you know there's a balance point in the center, and when positive and negative are equal choices, equally valid choices, then you can choose what you prefer to experience, regardless of anyone else's intention toward you. But if you give your power over, then you will experience what they may suggest that you experience, based on the idea that you don't believe you're powerful enough to experience the reality that you prefer.
No, I'm very adamant about not giving my power away.
But yet, you're experiencing some things in what you would call an unpleasant and disgusting way, which means you're defining things from a negative point of view. And that's giving your power away.
All right, let me give you an example.
Oh, all right. By all means.
Well, my last contact was a reptilian.
If you say so.
And of course, with all the contacts that I've had, they do not want to have. In fact, they were surprised that I'm able to see them.
Yes.
And the other ones were surprised with it too.
So what?
They ended it. All I'm saying is that it was not something they wanted me to be aware of.
No,
but that's not the point I wanted to make.
But that's not true.
Okay.
So you're proceeding from a falsehood.
Okay.
They may have been surprised that you could perceive them.
Right.
That doesn't mean that they didn't want you to see them. It simply means that they were not aware that you were at a place where you suddenly could.
Okay.
It's a very different thing from not wanting you to.
Okay, so they were surprised.
Yes.
Gotcha. But then they abruptly left. So I thought maybe they did not want to continue with the contact.
They recognized that you had made a big step and didn't want to give you more at that moment than you believed you could handle.
Gotcha.
Now, isn't that a relatively benevolent thing to do?
There's one that...
Isn't that a relatively benevolent thing to do?
Yes. And I didn't say they were all malevolent.
I know.
There was one I had to run away from, and seriously, they chased after me. They pointed a gun.
A gun?
Yeah, something that looked like one.
It wasn't.
They chased. When I said I don't want to go with you, they did not take no as for an answer, basically.
You did not take no for an answer.
No, I ran. They chased after me, literally.
Yes. But if you had stood your ground, they would have respected that you knew what you were talking about. You didn't need to run.
All right.
Running invites chasing. Do you understand? Standing your ground and stating your case in a balanced way is something they can respond to as well. But if you run, then they're going to think you want to be chased. Because that's what you're demonstrating.
That's not how I experienced it, but okay.
I know that's not how you experienced it, but I'm telling you why you experienced it the way you did is because of how you're looking at what happens. You're defining it in a negative way that allows you to think that the choice you should make is to run, and that means you're looking at it from a negative perspective, which is why you feel that it's a negative thing. So I'm explaining to you why you're having the feelings you're having. Whereas if you simply come from a positive place and stand your ground and state your case, you'll have a completely different experience with them. Because they're not malevolent. They are, however, very deeply connected to the parts of your psyche that have to do with survival instinct. So when you let your reptilian brain react in a negative way, you're going to get the reflection from them because they're also acting primarily on instinct. And they're reflecting to you the instincts you're giving off from your reptilian brain.
I wasn't scared until they said you must come with us.
So what?
Why must I do anything?
Because they're telling you what you've agreed to do. You're just not remembering.
Well, consciously, I didn't.
I understand. And if you had stood your ground and had a conversation and said, "Oh, I must come with you, please explain," they would have explained why the sentence was translated that way. Because you're the one insisting on having the interaction too. So all they're doing is reflecting the absolute certainty of the agreement that you have made. You must come with us. That's just the reflection of the agreement that you've made.
Can we rescind these agreements if we choose that?
There is no reason for you to want to if you understand them from the positive point of view, but yes. But recognize that if you rescind them from the negative point of view, all you're doing again is running away. And you will never, ever escape your own fear.
No, I would rescind them because I don't know them, and I don't like to have contracts with people I don't know for reasons I don't know.
You made the contracts, and on that level, when you made the contract, you knew what you were doing. So all you're saying is, as a physical persona, you're not trusting the agreements that your higher self has made. And that means you're not working with yourself completely either.
Or can I be 100% sure of what you just
Absolutely
said?
you can.
How?
By saying you are 100% sure, by taking control of your power, by knowing that the only way that you would make such an agreement is if it actually positively served you. And when you know that, and when you behave like you know that, you will experience that you know that. But until you behave like you know that, you'll experience the opposite. These things, in a sense, are tests to see how strong you are, to see how willing you are to be in concert with yourself and the agreements that you have made, instead of separating and segregating your physical mind so strongly from your higher mind and not allowing yourself to realize that you're in control of this.
So how can we be sure?
I just told you.
No, other than what you're saying.
There is no other way. There is no other way other than to simply decide to be sure. Because what you say in your reality is what sticks. So if you just decide that you're sure you did this for a positive reason, then you will only experience positive and beneficial effects. And if you don't, then that means you're locking back into the negative definitions. Don't do that. And if you don't do that, that's how you can be sure. By stopping yourself from locking into negative definitions, you will be sure. Because then you will only experience everything in a neutral way that you can give positive meaning to. And when you give it positive meaning, you can only get a positive effect regardless of anyone else's intention in the same situation. You exist in your own reality.
Yeah, I believe that.
Well, if you believe that, then understand you can't experience anything you don't agree to experience.
I feel like I haven't because I managed it correctly. I believe I did that.
Then go on believing that and see what happens.
Okay.
But I guarantee you, you will come to a different conclusion the further you investigate this. But for now, wherever you want to be is perfect for you. We're not trying to change your mind. We're just exploring the dynamics of the energy patterns we see within you when you ask the question and when you present the tableau. But I think you will have help in your dream state as well.
Okay.
And it will open up a vista for you that will allow you to see some of these things in a slightly different light.
That would be good.
One of the things that I am allowed to spill the beans on is to remind you that in many of the encounters, in fact, most of the encounters all of you have with different forms of beings, one of those beings is almost always another version of you in another reality. Deal with that. Thank you. Oh, and yes, pleasant dreams.
Tadeo,
Nania.
we have one more person that's coming up, and then we have a little bit of time left, so we wondered if we could pull a few more names.
Do you have questions from others elsewhere, or only from those present?
Only from those present.
All right.
How many should I choose?
3.
Dave Shirai. Samantha Howes. And Lashonda Green.
Thank you.